Okay.
All right. What's up?
All
What's up?
right.
What's up? We are back. We are back. It is the Agents of Chaos podcast. I'm your host, Scott Anderson. I'm here with my other host, my brother, Brandon Anderson. It has been a minute.
Man, we
It
back.
has been
Finally.
We are back, though. We are sorry for the delay for everybody that loved to tune in. Life took place, but we are back. Let's get right to it. Football is in full effect.
Full effect.
Right? Football is in full effect. And we'll go ahead and
started yesterday
out there right now. I have not concerned myself with NFL football as long as the Colorado Buffaloes are winning and Coach Prime is doing his thing. Right now, my squad 3-0, baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm absolutely in love with what Coach Prime is doing. I just want to mention that right now. I have been following NFL football, but I have been so locked in on what Coach Prime is doing in college football right now, what he's doing with that school, that organization, and the way he's handling those kids and the way they're playing, man, it's just been phenomenal. Like, so that's really where my focus has been.
Well, let's talk about that. We can talk about that and get into it. What Prime is doing. I mean, listen, I've been watching a lot of like his things on Instagram. You know, he goes on there, talks about different stuff, and he said something. He said, I'm a difference maker, and that he always been a difference maker. And he one of the posts that I liked, what he said is he said that he said this, and it was kind of funny, but he was like, why? He said, look at me, right? He said, look at me.
Right.
What makes you think that I care about what you think of me? Right. And that to me was like one of the coldest lines, because it's so true. In this society, we care so much about what people think. That's why everybody posts stuff on social media a lot of times and trying to give advice. Man, Jex, Professor Jex, shout out to Jex. He posted something that said, just because you got money or successful don't mean that you a good person. And like the advice you give is right. And I think we get so caught up on people that have money and all these things because maybe we want that. Maybe we want money, we want to be successful. So we start to follow what they're doing and then listen to what they're saying. Like, maybe they'll give me a gym and then I'll be able to be rich. But Prime is doing what he's doing, man. They got a big game coming up this weekend against Oregon. The game against Colorado State was a phenomenal game. And some people were saying, like, man, I hope that, when they was facing adversity, people was like, man, I kind of hope they lose just so now people will leave Prime alone. You know what I mean? Just like let him do whatever. But God had different plans for him in that game, because not only did they win it, they won in a fashion that I don't think anybody thought. I think that 23 points that they had them favored by was way too high anyway. You know, I think that Colorado is a Power 5 school. They in the conference with a Power 5. They've been having recruits for years, whether they've been good or not. Colorado State has had legit recruits, and that's the thing that Deion said, is that he's like, man, we about 8 players away from competing at the top 5 schools in the country. But what he's doing right now is nothing short of amazing. I think that he's going to continue to be successful. And what I like is that his kids have echoed the same thing that he says. Like, it's not fake. Like, it's legit. They believe in what he's saying, and that's what you do. You brand yourself. You brand yourself, but if you brand with a belief, the sky's the limit at that point.
Absolutely. So I agree with everything you're saying, man. I just want to echo that by saying you can't mess with God's people. Right. Like, so it seems like ever since. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's crazy because the Colorado State coach has said something along the lines of, "Oh, you don't wear sunglasses. I was raised you don't wear sunglasses and shades when you talk to adults."
Right.
It be your own people sometimes. He tried to say he's trying to talk to his own team, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
That day, I think Prime made $1.3 million off of the shades that he sells. You know what I mean? Like he made that money back. He made money up off of that. The biggest thing that got me was how everybody wants to see Coach Prime fail when he succeeded at everything that he's ever done. He succeeded.
Right.
And with baseball, with football, you know what I mean? He succeeded. And so it's kind of like, it takes me back to when I played basketball at Fontana for JV with Coach Nick Sykes. He was not Nick. I'm sorry, Coach Sykes. Nick Sykes' dad. He told us, because we were at the time. He said, "Understand something. Even though you're undefeated, people are no longer coming to see you win. They're coming to see you lose." And that's how I feel it is with Coach Prime. He's done everything he set out to do at Jackson State, now at Colorado. Now people are coming to watch his games to see if he's going to lose. I guarantee it's not what he said it was going to be. It's not that. No, it is that. Coach Prime showed not only himself as a coach, but how resilient his players are. He didn't get uptight. He didn't too perplexed with the game. He said, "Yo, we can't let this guy win." You know what I mean? And his boys were up there, and they did. Another big thing I love is what his son did, the quarterback. He said, "I resorted to my Tom Brady mentality. When they had to go 98 yards, you know what I mean, to get the game-tying touchdown. That kid looked precise out there. You know what I mean? And this is the Coach Prime effect, his confidence. Another thing he said, "Don't allow my confidence to offend your insecurity." You know what I mean? Like, don't let how confident what I do, how insecure you are. Don't do that. You know what I mean? And so I just love it, the way everybody gravitates towards Prime, because he's genuine. Like you said, it's real. It's not made up. I mean, he did mention that Prime was his persona. Prime time was his persona from Deion when he was on the field. But it's now what it is, and the kids believe it. Everybody on that staff, when they won their first game, I saw that grown man come over to Prime and start crying on his shoulder. Like, "Thank you for helping. Like, thank you for coming here and doing this." It's night and day out there in Colorado. Everything he's doing is phenomenal. Even if he loses a game, which is possible, it's football.
Listen, let's not even say it's possible. They're going to lose. They're going to lose.
It's football. Yeah, those things happen. Yeah. But it's just the way he has them playing. He literally has the whole state of Colorado like, "Yo, we got something. We finally got." They were 1-11. They had 1.7 million people viewed it last time they played Colorado State. Right now, they're 3-0, and they had 9.7 million people viewing the game. That's the Prime effect. That's greatness right there. Why can't we embrace that? Why do we have to try to tear that down? Anyone try to tear that down? Like, so, again, I love it. I love what he's doing. He's got these boys playing with confidence. He's got these boys playing like we need to be here. The only thing, which I'm pretty sure everybody sees, is the defensive side of the ball. They're giving up too much. But to be fair, they're playing guys, you know what I mean, who looked at them like, "Man, y'all not going to be nothing." You know what I mean? So they're scared for these guys. But that's something that I know Coach Prime will address. But as of right now, man, I'm so happy for Coach Prime. I'm happy for those kids in Colorado. I can tell you this: next year, the transfer portal is going to be loaded. Everybody's going to try to be a Buffalo. Everybody wants to be a Buffalo next year. So, but I love it, man. I absolutely love it.
Well, this goes to what we was talking about. I just talking about greatness, and you talk about greatness, and you talk about people that have an effect. People want to be around that. It's just like what we was just talking about when people want to be around success, or they want to listen to people that have success. But you also can look at how genuine Prime is. So, Coach Prime is it's like when you look at what he's doing, and you look at the people that he's affecting and the kids, how they're reacting to him. Kids coming into the transfer portal, wanting to come and play for him. What's wrong with that? That's what it's for. Everybody got the same transfer portal. Everybody got the same transfer portal. They can get players in there. This isn't about him cheating or taking something away from everybody else because of his persona. What's the difference between Nick Saban? What's it between Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, guys like that, Lane Kiffin, using their NFL prowess or whatever to get influence. To influence to get kids. And I was listening to Instagram, and everybody got a podcast now. No knock to us. Everybody got a voice, and that's the good thing. It's fun to what we do.
We're gonna do.
Everybody has a voice. And I listened to this one guy, He was a brother, and he was talking to a white guy that called in, and the white guy said, he said, "Well, why does he? How many? What other coaches have you seen prop themselves up like he does?" And then the brother's response to him was, "Well, how many white coaches have the ridicule that when they come in that Prime had?" He's like, they want to see him fail from the beginning. And he was like, and he said, why is that? He said, when a white coach gets the job, is he's a perfect fit. He's great for the
Right.
job. Exactly. He said, but when Prime got the job, it was like, everybody want to see him fail. And the white dude said this, and I'm glad he kept it a buck. He said, because because white people are insecure with his success.
Back to what he said. Don't let my confidence offend your insecurity.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And the dude said, thank you for being honest. And the dude said, he said that I'm not, he's not speaking for all white people, just saying. He just said that people want, he said they feel like that's all they have left. That's what he said.
Right.
He said coaching is all they got. So now when the brother comes in and starts, he said they feel threatened. They feel intimidated. And that sounds like a you problem. That's what sounds like a you problem.
That is.
Yeah.
I can understand why a confident African American male can offend so many people because he's confident. But if a white male is confident and does that, it's applauded. It's like that's how it's supposed to be. Like,
look at Bill Belichick.
Right. I'll take it a step further. Prime says what he says because he's confident in himself. He's confident in what he does. If I'm not mistaken, Donald Trump did the same thing. He was praised for that. Right. He wasn't brought down for that. He was praised for that.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So what Coach Prime is doing, the only thing that bothers me is that when it's your own that are also feeding into that nonsense, you know what I'm saying? And trying to do little jabs and stuff to kind of bring you down. It's like, why are we doing this? Everyone should be excited for what Coach Prime is doing. Right. He literally went to the worst team in FBS in college football and already have 500. He didn't go to an Alabama. He didn't go to a Clemson. He didn't go to an Ohio State. Yep. He didn't go to any of these Power 5, these top schools. He didn't go to a Georgia, nothing of that. He went to the worst team. Mm-hmm. The worst team. 1-11.
Yep.
1-11. Yep. And he's making them great. How can that not be something to praise? If I'm not mistaken, that's what we all praise, taking something that's bad and making it great. But now when Coach Prime is doing it, it's like, it has to be something. So not to go back, because we can stay on that forever. You know what I mean? But
no, right.
I wish everyone would grasp onto the fact that greatness is greatness.
Yeah.
And when you have someone with his influence, his power, his understanding, his mentality, it's like, he's going to win. Everywhere he's been from the NFL, baseball, and on, he's won. Right. He's won. That's who he is. That's what that's his aura. That's his cologne is success and winning. Like that's what it is. Like that's what it is. So again, like
I'm gonna add this, and then we'll move on to the NFL because I know you want to talk about your Bears.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, we are. We are going to talk about those Bears and some comments that Justin Fields made. But what
I got you.
What I'm gonna say is this: what I do love about our people is that we do come together in certain situations. When Obama became president, we was all fans. When Black Panther came out,
absolutely,
we was Wakanda forever, all in the street. Prime, he got celebrities. He got celebrities coming out to the games. They want to see him win. Got everybody like showing up on the sidelines, people you wouldn't even think about. This is funny, but we all Colorado Buffalo fans right now. So bandwagon fan. FSU is my squad, but I'm a Colorado Buffalo fan because Prime is there. But somebody said something about we're gonna switch on this, but Kawhi was at the game. Kawhi Leonard was at the game. And it was like, no, he didn't laugh. But it was like, it was like, dang, man, somebody got, like, they was on Instagram. It was like, man, Coach Prime got Kawhi to come out the basement. He came out the basement for this game. And somebody said, dang, he been in more games for the Buffaloes than he had been playing in yeah. Oh, man, that's wrong, man.
And
they made a good point.
So we can touch on that on another pod, though. But you know what I'm saying? He right. Big facts. Big facts.
Big facts. So let's
into the NFL.
Let's dive in to the NFL.
Let's go.
I'm gonna get these graphics and stuff fixed up next time. It won't be this choppy next time. But let's talk NFL. Big news. Obviously, a couple big news and things we'll touch on. The NFC, what that race is looking like with the NFC. The AFC is in shambles right now. So many things to talk about, but we're gonna start with some news first. We'll start with some news and then we'll transition into both conferences and we'll fit in what we can and say some things for the next thing, do a couple predictions and stuff like that. So Justin Fields made a comment about his coaching
my quarterback.
Staff. Your quarterback.
My quarterback.
Your guy.
I love it.
Made the comments about the coaching staff. And unpopular opinion, he wasn't lying. So
that should be the popular opinion. That should be popular. That should be popular. That should be popular.
Greg Jennings, former NFL wide receiver Greg Jennings, played for the Minnesota Vikings, played for the Packers, Super Bowl champion. He made this comment on he made this comment on FS1. And he said, Justin Fields was talking about, and they asked him questions. He said, do the coaches be in your ear talking to you when things are going on? And he's like, and Greg Jennings says, absolutely. I hated it. He said, we hated it. Teddy Bridgewater was going to play. And he said, because now you're looking at what they're telling you might be a mistake. You're looking at this. You're not just playing football with me. Listen, I'm going to get this from a macro perspective for me.
Okay.
And then I'm going to get your, I want to hear your insight because you the Bears fan.
Sure.
The Chicago Bears are squandering the abilities of Justin Fields right now. And I'm going to say this. If you want to look at it this way. Daniel Jones is not a terrible quarterback. He's just okay. Justin Fields has a better arm. He's faster. He's bigger. He's more athletic.
Yes.
How is it that you can't figure out a way to use his attributes as is while he continues to develop? He's like a better version of Michael Vick. Michael Vick was probably faster. But if you want to talk about the intangible, the talent and the ability, I don't understand how you can't figure out a way for him to be able to utilize his weapons and be a much more successful quarterback. It's mind-boggling to me right now the way that they're handling him.
Check me out. You can name at least 3 New York Giant quarterbacks that are in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah. Yep.
How many can you name from Chicago?
How many can I name from Chicago?
Am I still there?
I got you.
Yeah. Yep. That's the answer I wanted right there. None. None. Right? There are none. Chicago is a defensive-based organization. Right? They're based off defense. They have never developed a quarterback. They've never had to develop a quarterback. Linebackers, yes. Corners, yes. Safeties, yes. Defensive line, yes. If you look in the Chicago Bear Hall of Fame, their entire defense is in there. None of their quarterbacks. right? So now you bring in a kid who's a quarterback who needs development. This is exactly why I said when everybody said, oh, if Patrick Mahomes came to Chicago, they'd have a Super Bowl. No, they wouldn't. Patrick Mahomes would probably be on Dallas. He would have gotten traded. He would have gotten sent off somewhere. Chicago does not know how to develop quarterbacks because they never had to. For years, they were a defensive-minded team. They could take a quarterback like Trent Dilfer, put him in the defense, and the team would look good. With the quarterbacks that they've had no star quarterbacks. The closest one was Jay Cutler, but he was so in his own mind, he's like, I can do what I do. So now Fields, I love Justin Fields. I like the young boy. I like how he plays. I like his mentality. I do think the comparison to him and Jalen Hurts was strongly unfair. I've already told you, they're not the same type of player. They're not even the same type of person. But I do believe it's gotten into Justin Fields' ear, and it's now in his head. You can't throw the ball. You're just a running back. So what he's trying to do is meet the expectations of everyone else around him. What he should do is exactly what you said Coach Prime said. Why should I care about how you feel about me and what I do? If you're a running quarterback, run the ball, do what you do, and then open up the pass game. But because Justin Fields, to me, is such a coachable player, he wants to do what his coaches say, but at the same time, it's hindering his development at the same time. You know what I mean? So, again, I would have loved to see the transition that Jalen Hurts had from Justin Fields, but I didn't expect that to happen because they're two totally players. You know what I mean? And the Eagles have developed quarterbacks. They know there's people on that staff that can be like, we've had a quarterback like this. Let's do this, that, and the third. If Chicago wants to become a team where they can focus on offense, it's going to take a few years. So what I've been saying is, if you look at all the quarterbacks that come out now, they want results immediately. But you see a lot of them now, they're starting to struggle. Joe Burrow was struggling. He has the injury. Josh Allen's struggling. You know what I mean? Deshaun Watson is struggling. Even Jalen Hurts.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that.
Right. They're struggling. They're struggling. And so I told everybody when I was talking to them about my job, I said, but look at Geno Smith. Geno Smith is on what, year 7?
Yeah.
And look, he looks like an NFL quarterback now. He didn't look like that year 3. Everybody was like, "Oh, he's trash. He can't do it."
And he sat for 2 years.
And that's the point that I'm about to make, is that I think even though these organizations want to win now, you got to think long term. Brady sat, right? Multiple championships. Aaron Rodgers sat, championship. You know what I mean? So I think that's the thing. My only issue is there's not enough veterans that these kids can learn from. Right. So you know what I mean? You can't throw them in the fire because the second your veteran has a mistake, we drafted you high, get up out here. No. You're going to sit for 3 years. You're going to develop, and then we're going to put you out in the field. Jordan Love, right? I can't stand Green Bay, but what they did with Jordan Love was smart. You're going to sit behind Rodgers.
Looks good.
And you're going to learn. And he looked precise. He looked good, right? My bigger issue with Chicago is the defense. Is the defense. Justin Fields is going to move the ball. He's going to get better. But if this defense stays as inept as it is, it won't matter if he puts up 48. They're going to give up 56 or 65. You see what I'm saying? So I don't disagree with his comments. I think he was frustrated because, like they said, he's not used to losing. You go get him a solid piece in DJ Moore. You know what I mean? He has some weapons. They have running backs. They have it. I just think the expectation was too high too fast, right? Where people are like, oh, well, if he doesn't do this, then you use that first round pick to get a quarterback. No, get that out of his head.
You know, well, here, let me jump in and add this too. Situations matter. Huge.
Facts.
Situations that you get in are huge. Because let's just do this. Put Justin Fields on the New York Jets.
Right.
Okay? You put Justin Fields on the New York Jets. They're a playoff team, and they're a favorite in the AFC. Because here's the thing. Everybody likes to take away from coaching, man. And I always I always harp on coaching because I coached. I know the impact of good coaching. You don't have to play in the NFL or in the NBA to understand the process and the importance of good coaching. And I'm gonna give you some
Right.
real prime examples. Josh Allen. When Josh Allen
Mhm.
came into the league, I said this before. I said he was trash. The way he played was not going to work. So guess what?
Right.
When Buffalo got Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll was there, had the best year of Josh Allen's career was when Brian Daboll was coach. The moment Brian Daboll leaves, what happens? He's turning the ball over. He had 4 turnovers in the game this year against the Jets. It was ridiculous.
For the same person.
Same 3 of the same dude. Same dude.
For the same dude.
Then now we're not talking about it now. I'm saying Eric Bieniemy left the Kansas City Chiefs. They can't.
He's making
Sam
Sam
look the
Howell
same.
look like a quarterback.
He's making Sam Howell looks like a quarterback.
quarterback.
Now let's temper the expectations because I'm going to get into the power like where we are ranking like the teams right now. Let's get into because we'll get into this, but let's just talk about let's pump the brakes on who everybody has played so far. It's been 2 games, and everybody is like everybody's so quick to want to anoint somebody to come out. Come holler at me after 6 to 7 games because right now, since nobody really played in the preseason, these first 3 or 4 games is preseason games. So if you can get wins in the preseason games, then that works. But look who started off losing: Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes started off the season losing games. Russell Wilson lost. Aaron Rodgers out for the year. Other side, Kirk Cousins 0-2. Justin Herbert 0-2. These are all people that y'all saying is top 10 quarterbacks.
Watson, are they 1-1 or 0-2?
They 1-1 because they beat the Bengals.
Okay.
Deshaun Watson is done. He looks like a shell of himself. The only thing that can save him at this point, I think the only thing that can save him at this point is if they can get the running game going again. Because he looks awful.
Right.
He can't, he's not even hitting out routes. Like I'm talking about 10-yard outs. And they're going sailing 20 yards outside the sideline. Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's not ready to be a quarterback in the NFL. He's just not.
Shannon Sharp said he couldn't play dead in a horror movie.
Man, you can't be saying stuff like that, man. When I bag.
Oh, listen, you
stupid.
Listen, I'm sorry. That was I heard that. I cried, bro. I cried. I heard that.
He ain't lying though. We need to pump the brakes on all of our assessments of these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We got to stop anointing these quarterbacks. Right now, to me,
Absolutely.
Patrick Mahomes is the only one that's untouchable. Like right now, leave Patrick Mahomes alone. I don't care if the Kansas City Chiefs. Listen, I'm keeping it real. I don't care. You can give me pushback. I don't care if the Kansas City Chiefs are 2-6. I just have to see them lose all season for me to believe that they can't turn it around.
So, and I agree with you there. And it goes back to what I said, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. It goes back to when Michael Vick said, I played my best football as a quarterback when I met Andy Reid.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in quarterbacks need coaches. They need legit offensive quarterback coaches because quarterbacks are sensitive. They're very, very sensitive. I don't care who you are, they're sensitive. They shut down or they try to overdo it. Right? They need someone who can speak to them, who can talk to them to help them understand what's going on, what's going right, and what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. So I agree with you. I believe that if we go back to where these quarterbacks sit for at least 3 years, 3 to 4 years, whatever the case may be, then they'll go ahead and they'll be better. But also, if I'm not mistaken, didn't John Elway need what's his name? Terrell Davis?
Yeah.
Didn't he get better when he got Terrell Davis? Didn't Peyton Manning get better? Yeah, Elway.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Peyton Manning get better when he had a solid running back?
Adrian James.
And
Joseph Adai.
So didn't Troy Aikman look good with somebody? What's his name? Smith. Emmitt Smith. He had someone that took pressure off of him as a quarterback. We disvalue the running back now, saying, we don't need you. We got these quarterbacks. And it's like, y'all trash because you don't have a run game, which opens up the pass game.
Right.
If they know you're not going to give the ball to your running back, I'm just going to drop my DBs in coverage and I'm going to send these dogs at you.
Well, here,
you know what I mean?
Look, that's a great segue for me to talk about the Eagles. Okay, so I'm gonna say this.
Okay,
I'm gonna say this first. I'm gonna say this first. As far as we talked about quarterbacks again, everybody wants to leave Jalen Hurts outside of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL because he's not a thrower. He's not doing those things. But of the 3 quarterbacks that you want to put over him, only one of them is 2-0. Okay, because Joe Burrow's 0-2, Patrick Mahomes is 1-1, and Josh Allen is 1-1, and they played the Raiders. So everybody thinks that they figured out the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's just get one thing straight. Okay, Dallas looks great. Dallas looks great right now. I understand they played the Giants, who are awful. They played the Jets, who don't have a quarterback. And no matter how good your defense is, you're going to get worn down when the other team can't score. You don't have any fear.
Right.
So San Francisco beat the Giants. They struggled with the Rams. And they beat the Steelers, who haven't had a 400-yard offensive game since the season started. But with all that being said, I'm gonna be unbiased.
Okay, because that boy nice.
Listen, I'm gonna go Dallas and I'm gonna go Dallas and San Francisco is 1A and 1B right now. I don't want to say one is way better than the other. I think that them losing Trayvon Diggs was huge.
It's
huge. And I don't really feel like they're going to see it until they play a good quarterback. Because their next game, they're not going to see a good quarterback. They're going to see Josh Jacobs.
My thing with Dallas is this. Dallas, to me, is equivalent to what Peyton Manning was. They look great during the season. When they get to the playoffs, they get smacked.
That's what happened.
Dallas can go undefeated all year. I don't care. Until y'all win 3 or 4 playoff games, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Right? And I get it. Yeah. Bears fan, but I'm not so much of a Bears fan to where I'm blinded by their struggles. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, our organization literally just got robbed by some people who stole $100,000 worth of gear.
Bro, I saw that. What's going on?
So I'm gonna equate that to when you want the property value to go down so you can move to another building and they help you do it. I think that's what that was. They gave them motherfuckers the key. Y'all got the key. Hey, go ahead, take this light shit real quick so we go ahead and move to Arlington, right? I'm not buying that bullshit. Right? Yeah. So moving on. But when it comes to Dallas, they looked good in those first 2 games. I granted the quarterback situation, but to me, it was always the defense. It was the defense that made Dallas look the way that they look. But until Dallas can win, like I said, make it to an NFC championship, make it to a Super Bowl, win at least 2 playoff games back to back convincingly.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. Because Peyton Manning played all season, then he get into 1 playoff game and lay an egg, smoking dust. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's where I pick Dallas. I'm not taking anything away from the 2 wins, even though it's early in the season and we equate those to preseason games. You got 2 wins.
It'll be 3 wins. They're playing Arizona.
And so what's going to happen is Dallas always end up Dallasing. That's a new word. Dallas ends up Dallasing to where they end up doing something that's like, what the fuck are y'all doing? You know you shouldn't have done that. You know? So until they win some playoff games, bro, I'm still on the fence with them. I'm not. They are ranking where they are. I get you. Granted, you got to have them there. But until they win some playoff games, I'm not sold on Dallas.
You know what? If you take the championships away, and I mean, because everybody always talk about their championships. I argue on Facebook with Dallas fans all the time, and they always talking trash because the Eagles only got one. And I'm just, I get it. I'm a right now kind of person. I don't care about the 5 championships or the 6 championships like the Steelers or the whomever. I don't care what you did 25 years ago. That really doesn't matter to me. I could care less. To rest on those laurels is stupid to me because your team has to be good now in order for you to enjoy being a fan. It just is what it is. Like your team, you can't just keep watching your team lose and keep talking about what y'all used to do back in the 90s. And they're like Minnesota to me. Minnesota, I mean, not now because Minnesota's losing, but Minnesota, when they was winning all them games last year, I was like, I'm not a believer. And it's the same thing with Dallas. It's like, of course I don't want them to win, but I recognize when I see a good team. They got a good defense, a really great defense, a championship level defense. The question mark will always be Dak Prescott. That's always going to be the question. What happens when the pressure's on and the rubber meets the road? Will Dak be able to perform? And I'm sorry, with all these injuries and everybody getting hurt this year, I don't see Tony Pollard holding up all season long. I just don't see it. Now, right now, the first couple games, yes, he looks good. They're playing against bad teams. They're tired. They have a lead. So you're going to run the ball. But same thing with the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy doesn't throw the ball 15 yards down the field. Like, he doesn't have to. No. All he's doing is getting the ball out into the hands of the guys that can make plays, which is what San Francisco does. But if they play a team that has a good defense and a somewhat decent offense, they're going to struggle. Because all they're going to do is try to get pressure on Brock and sit on those routes and make tackles. If you can make tackles on this 49ers, you can beat them. That's the thing. So when I go back to the Eagles, we beat Minnesota on Thursday night. We had 8 starters hurt, but nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about Bradbury being hurt. Nobody talks about the safety not playing, the backup safety not playing, our nickel corner not playing, like because he got hurt in the game. Nobody's talking about any of that stuff. They just talked about how Jalen Hurts don't look like the quarterback from last year. So they set and so Bill Belichick, greatest defensive mind in football right now, schemed. Eagles were on the road. They still won in bad weather. Minnesota on a short week against arguably the best wide receiver in football, who still balled, they still won. They was up by 14 at the end of and halfway through the fourth quarter. Yeah, they got a touchdown late, but that didn't make the game close. And Jalen Hurts said this, is just like what you was talking about. Win was winning, not the main thing. They said, oh, you gonna drop 8 and make us run the ball. Well, what did they do? DeAndre Swift had a career game, 175 yards. So the Eagles ain't doing nothing different than what they did last year. The only difference is they didn't play in the preseason. They look rusty. They have a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator. So they're going to have to gel. But if you can get wins during this time, why is that not important? If you want to sit back and let them run the ball 40 times, they will.
I'm going to tell you why. 2 reasons. Fantasy football and stats. Period. Fantasy football and stats. Bro, if my quarterback goes out there and he goes let's say for intended purposes, he goes 26 for 37.
Yeah.
Right? Has 120 or 150 yards. But we win the game. I'm moving on to the next. But the analysts now talk about, oh, he only threw for 150 yards. This guy over here what's his name? From Stroud, C.J. Stroud. He threw for 500 and something yards, but he lost.
Right,
He lost.
right.
He threw for 567 yards, and he lost the game.
That's what.
With his quarterback 420, and they won.
Look,
see what I'm saying? What I'm getting
Kirk
at?
Cousins.
It's so.
Kirk Cousins in that game. Kirk Cousins torched him for 300 yards. Oh, Mac Jones looked like a Pro Bowler, 300 yards. They both lost.
But they lost. I'd rather look like a bum and look like a Pro Bowler and lose. What are we talking about? That's what I'm saying. I honestly think because back in the day, fans didn't have this much access, right? We didn't have this much access to what goes on in the locker room and the organizations and things like that. Now with Twitter and social media, and you can get all this access. Now all that stuff matters. If your quarterback doesn't have great numbers, but you win, what are we talking about? He's a winning quarterback. He won. He won. It's like Dan Marino.
Yeah.
But he didn't win a chip.
Didn't win.
He didn't win a chip. So when you talk about quarterbacks, yeah, you will honorably mention his name because of what he did on the field. But if we're talking chips, he's not on the list.
Right.
He's not. Ultimately, he did not win the big one.
Right.
So at some point, I honestly start to believe it just becomes reason for conversation.
Yeah.
Right. We have to have a conversation.
Look.
Oh man, y'all won the game by 30. Y'all won the game by 15, but your quarterback only threw for 200 yards. So what? We won.
It's the flavor of the month, bro. It's the flavor of the month.
Yeah.
Look at Tua. Tua Tagovailoa. He threw for 400 and something yards in the game, and they won. The next game, they didn't pass as much. Raheem Mostert, they ran for 120 yards. Miami's getting all this praise. The Eagles did the same thing. Yeah. Jalen Hurts did the same thing. At some point, the energy has to. It's not gonna happen, but the energy needs to be the same. It's got to be the same energy. Okay, and I'm gonna ask. So we'll move on. I'm gonna ask you this topic because it's one of these things that I'm this whole quarterback hierarchy, and you talked about it, mentioning Dan Marino. They talked about Justin Herbert and how he's had the best first 4 seasons than any quarterback in NFL history. Best numbers, any quarterback in NFL history. What happened when they was in the playoff game last year? They was up by 20 plus points and lost. What's their record? What's their record this year?
Yeah.
0-2. Okay? 0-2. What are we talking about? Just like you said, because guess what? 0-2. Now you go 0-3. It's a 1% chance you making the playoffs. 1.9% chance you making the playoffs. And somebody going 0-3. Somebody going 0-3 this weekend because the Chargers play the Vikings. Chargers play the Vikings. Yeah. They both 0-2.
At 4:00. So yeah, that's on the books.
Somebody go 0-3. Somebody go 0-3.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. Who do you feel like at this point of the quarterbacks where they are right now? And I'm gonna give you some names. This weekend, what do you need to see and who has the most pressure? Justin Herbert, Josh Allen for follow-up performance, Joe Burrow, okay, follow-up performance. Or Russell Wilson. So you got Joe Burrow, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, and Justin Herbert.
I think isn't Burrow out, or is he playing?
They saying he might play. They're saying he's gonna play. I don't know. I honestly don't think he should because that calf ends up turning into Achilles. Yeah. Ask Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Ask Aaron Rodgers. But if he plays on that short list, who do you feel has the most pressure this weekend to win?
Give me that list again.
Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, or Joe Burrow?
I'm going to say Josh Allen.
Mm.
I'm going to say Josh Allen because I get it. They have their slow starts, but Buffalo got a taste of winning, and they like the fact that they're winning. He's going to have to do something because you have a receiver on that team who hates to lose, and I don't think he's going to tolerate that too much longer. I get it; it's only 2, but it doesn't look good, and I don't
This
think he's
goes
being
back to
targeted.
last year.
Yeah,
This goes back to last year.
So I'm going to say Josh Allen. He has to win. I kind of think Joe Burrow gets a pass because of the calf. I kind of think Justin Herbert, they mention him because they're just supposed to.
Yeah.
I don't think they're really watching him. I think all eyes are going to be on the Buffalo Bills because everybody was so heavy on them for the last 3 years. And they've done nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing playoff worthy wise to make to be on them like this. I definitely think it's Buffalo with that fan base and the way everybody Buffalo knows how to circle the wagons, but the wagon getting shot the fuck up right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's getting hit. It's pow, 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 pow. Like, so I think it's Justin Herbert. I think he has the most pressure to put a 1 in the win count.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go opposite of you. I agree with what you said with Josh Allen. They're in a division where they may not win the division because they're in the division with the Miami Dolphins, and they're in the division with the New York Jets, who already beat them. So I'm with you on the pressure. I honestly agree that I think that there's more pressure on him. I really feel like I'm gonna go left field on this. I'm gonna say Joe Burrow.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
But mind you, he started 0-2 last year.
They don't look the same though.
You know what I mean?
They don't look the same though. Some feel different. Like they started slow last year because they just came from a Super Bowl and they lost.
Right.
So they started slow. So that's understandable. Then they picked it up and they won like 11 out of 14 games, something like that, from the rest of the stretch. They don't look the same. And it's different. See, it's different. The Eagles didn't look the same, but they're 2-0.
Yeah.
The Bengals don't look the same, and they're 0-2. And I don't care what nobody says. The Rams, they're not quitting. For whatever reason, somebody told them Cooper Kupp is out. They don't care.
That young boy, I don't know who he is. That boy out there doing some work.
That wide receiver?
Yeah.
I think his name is Pukwa or something like that.
Yeah, I can't think of his name, but yeah. He's doing some work out there.
And Aaron Donald is still on that team. Matt Stafford is still on that team. And Matt don't know how to quit. Matt been bad. You know, he been in Detroit. He was in Detroit for his whole career. So
and the moment he left Chip City, like so
right. So this ain't new for him. They should have beat the 49ers. They should have beat the 49ers. If he had some playmakers, they'd have beat the 49ers. But I think it's on Joe, man. I think it's Joe Burrow because if he can't perform, and not only did he lose, are they 0-2? It's a bad looking 0-2. He only had 82 passing yards the first game when they lost. Right. And then they lost last week to the Ravens, a division opponent. They lost to the Browns, a division opponent. So you already got 2 division losses on your resume. And now you're gonna be at home playing against the Rams, who ain't got nothing to lose.
Right.
And if he can't be healthy, now we got to start asking questions because his first year he wasn't healthy. He got hurt. He missed most of the season. Came back, had a Super Bowl run. Came back, played a good second year, third year technically. Didn't make the Super Bowl, but they was one play away. Now you start this year off, you got a calf injury. You got your bag, you got a calf injury. I think he got a lot of pressure. If they go 0-3,
we're having a conversation at that point. There's a conversation to be had at that point. If any of those teams
with Justin Herbert.
Yeah, any of those teams you mentioned, if they lose, there's a conversation to be had. And yeah. I was also talking. There's been way more injuries this year.
Oh man, it's crazy.
Whatever the NFLPA did that year, where they stopped them from doing pad hitting twice a day or something like that, they need to go ahead and reinstate that,
bro.
Because these guys
I literally just said this in the car yesterday.
They have them 2-a-days with pads on because they got to get used to hitting, man. They got to get the body has to get used to this type of tension and stuff. And I don't know if they're gonna do it. I don't know how real this is, but I've been hearing a lot of chatter about the NFL needs to just go ahead and do away with turf and go back to playing on grass because grass has, like I said, I don't know because grass has more give, more injuries happen on turf. You're popping more ACLs. You look at a lot of the ACL injuries; they happen on turf fields.
Yeah, but you know what though, man? I'm gonna say this though. A lot of the players like turf. A lot of the players like turf. It makes you fast. A lot of these guys like turf. But I'm gonna go back to what you said. I don't think it's the turf. I think your foot can get stuck in the grass just like your foot can get stuck on some turf. Maybe it's not the same. I know it's not exactly the same. I'm just saying that it could happen. But I'm with you on these dudes don't play, man. They don't play. Don't. That's what it is. And all this, it's the same in the NBA. All this, management, load management. Let me not play in the preseason. Let me not hit in practice. Bruh, like you said, that's like a well-oiled machine. Right. You gotta push your body, push yourself. You are playing a sport where it requires a lot of physical stuff for your body. If people haven't watched this, I'm just saying this because I'm an Eagles fan. Watch that Kelsey documentary on Amazon.
Everybody's been talking about that. I have to check that out. They said that's
bro. You gotta check it out.
Out of that joint, bro.
You gotta check it out because he wanted to retire last year. He was going to retire before that. Like watching him, he couldn't move. He had some injuries. He just couldn't do a lot of stuff. And you see the day-to-day, the mental, what you got to put yourself through to be physically able to go and play this game. And for him to come back and play another year is nothing short of phenomenal. I respect the hell out of him for that. But when you ain't playing and you ain't hitting and you're not on the court, you're not on the field, your body can't just turn the switch. I still fear for Christian McCaffrey because he's missed so many games. But this is why running backs don't get paid. Who's hurt right now? Saquon Barkley's hurt.
All of them.
Aaron Jones is hurt. Nick Chubb is out for the year. Austin Eckler got an ankle injury. Now,
Jamal Williams, David Montgomery, they're all of them hurt.
And this is why people don't pay running backs. It's not. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. That dude came in for Nick Chubb, Jerome Brown, and had 117 yards.
Yes.
Production is production.
So it can be running back by committee.
Sure. If you're not going to pay people, that's what it can be. And it's just now, man, the running back position is devalued. I think the running back position should be more valued. Absolutely. Right. For the things that you mentioned earlier. Those running backs are better. I mean, those quarterbacks are better because they have a running game.
Yes,
they have a running game. Marshall Faulk. Listen, when Tom Brady was winning all them championships, he didn't have nobodies. Corey Dillon was a solid back. Great back. Listen. Kevin Faulk, just because these dudes don't got names, don't mean they wasn't good football players.
Right.
Kevin Falk did what he was supposed to do. James White did what he was supposed to do. They have players.
Right.
When the Bears went to the Super Bowl, y'all running back was Matt Forte.
Yeah. But let me listen. I don't care what nobody say. Damn kick returner Devin Hester had a lot to do with that one.
Yeah, he did. He did.
That boy did.
But I'm saying
that boy Gage had a lot to do
I'm
with
saying that to say running backs matter. If you look at any of these NFL teams, the only ones that haven't really had a standout back recently is the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs didn't have a real standout running back. But even when the Bucks won with Tom Brady, they had Tom Brady, yes, but they had Leonard Fournette.
Yeah,
they had Leonard Fournette. Bears, y'all had Thomas Jones and y'all had Matt Forte. The Colts, they had Joseph Adai, they had Edgerrin James, great backs. The Rams, Marshall Faulk. You know what I mean? Like these you got to have a good back, man. You got to have a good back, or at least a back that can produce. That's what it is.
Right.
Guys make names for themselves.
Let's work out the picture. When the Eagles have Brian Westbrook.
Yeah. They went to the Super Bowl.
Keep him out.
You had Brian Westbrook. They added Terrell Owens. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes up in this season. We only 2 games in.
Facts.
3 games.
So, with this being said, before we get up out of here, because my son's game is about to be over in a little bit. They got a high school game they're going on. They playing Tower Hill.
All right.
Playing Tower Hill right now. I was scrolling on Facebook and I saw something that came up on September 20th. And it had the best teams in the NFC. I'm sorry, the AFC ranked by Pro Football Talk.
Okay.
Number 1. I'm gonna go from lowest to highest. I'm not gonna go from 1 to 10. I'm gonna go from 10 to 1.
All right.
10. They have the Bengals.
Okay.
9. The Titans.
Okay.
8. They have the Browns. 7. Steelers. 6. They have the Jets.
Okay.
At 5. They have the Jaguars. At 4, they have Buffalo.
Okay.
At 3, they have Baltimore.
They 2-0.
At 2, they have the Chiefs. And at 1, they have the Miami Dolphins.
I don't know how you're going to put the Ravens below the Chiefs right now.
As of week 3, I get it. But what makes me think, I think that they have to be going overall performance and not just this year. They have to be going over.
True, I get that. But the Chiefs only beat the Jaguars. And it was 17-9. And then they lost.
It's because it has to be, I would assume it has to be because they have Patrick Mahomes. And Baltimore, I love Lamar Jackson. But again, what are we doing in the playoffs, bro? What are we doing in the playoffs? They won that one playoff game, and it looked like a Super Bowl when they won that one playoff game. It looked like they won their Super Bowl, and that's so. Yeah. Again, during the season, you got phenomenal. I need to see what these kids do once they cross that line. What these players do once they cross that line into the playoffs. That's going to determine a lot. So all right. So we'll go out on this because we're gonna talk again. Oh, and I'm just gonna plug this. I am going to start recording and doing a quick like fantasy football thing for people that play fantasy. I'm a big fantasy football head, so I'll be doing some like news and notes and just some quick little anecdotes for each of the games. Some players to look out for. Scott's gonna edit that for me because he's dope. So anyway, I'm gonna give you some 0-2 teams, right? Okay, I'm gonna give you some 0-2 teams, and then I'm gonna give you the 2-0 teams and you got to give me one that you think should be on upset alert. And I'm gonna give you one of mine. Okay. We'll make it quick. All right. So the 0-2 teams, unfortunately,
Bears is at the Chiefs.
Upset alert. We
Upset
pissed.
alert.
Y'all from us. Our defensive coordinator got kicked off. We pissed. We going for 30. Upset alert. Where the button at?
Oh, I should have known.
Upset alert.
All right. Upset alert. All right. 0-2 Cardinals. 0-2 Cardinals hosting the Cowboys. Cardinals. Do the Cardinals get a win?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
Panthers with Sam Darnold at Seahawks.
No.
So 0-3, right?
Bryce Young, he's just too small.
Right now,
and truthfully, I have bias. We got their first round pick, so I don't want them to do well. I'm sorry. I love them, but we got their first round pick. We pick number 1 and number 2 this year, which is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Chargers Vikings. Who's winning that game? Somebody's going 0-3. Chargers at Vikings.
The Vikings.
Vikings going 0-3. Chargers get their first win. Okay. Jaguars Texans. Jaguars or Texans. Texans is 0-2. Are they getting a win in Jacksonville? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no. Ooh. Now this one. 2-0 Falcons at the 1-1 Lions.
It pains me to say this. Lions getting that.
Go ahead and say it.
Pains me to say it. Lions are getting that one. They're getting that one.
All right. 0-2.
Crazy. That defense is crazy.
0-2 Patriots at the Jets.
Patriots.
Ooh, Patriots going. Oh, yeah, that's probably.
Well, exactly. Can't play dead in the horror movie. I gotta go. I gotta go up. I gotta go up. I gotta go.
2-0 Dolphins. 2-0 Dolphins hosting the 0-2 Broncos.
Dolphins.
Broncos going 0-3. Ravens. 2-0 Ravens is hosting the 1-1 Colts. Do Ravens get their first loss?
Ravens. Colts quarterback is still in concussion protocol. The rookie in concussion protocol.
He ain't playing. He ain't playing.
Yeah, Ravens. I'll go Ravens.
Now we got a matchup of 2-0 teams. Eagles at Tampa Bay.
Eagles win.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are favored. They're favored by 5.
Eagles
now
win.
this one is my upset alert. 0-2 Bengals are hosting the Rams. And I think the Rams are going to beat the Bengals.
I think so too.
I think the Rams are going to beat the Bengals, even if they have a healthy Joe Burrow.
I think so too.
I think the Rams go in there, and I think they get them. I think they get them.
I think so. Absolutely, yeah. I think so. Yeah, those are picks they locked up.
I will say here's I don't. You know what? That's probably maybe that's not so much of an upset alert, but this one also a game to just games to keep your eye on. 2-0 team that might come out 2-1. Bills at Commanders. Commanders are 2-0. I got the Bills in that game.
Might lose that game, bro. Bills might lose that one. I think the Bills might lose that.
Okay.
Again, Bellamy. I'm a believer in Eric Bieniemy. Sorry, Bieniemy. Yeah. I'm a believer in this guy. So yeah,
and I know you ain't gonna like this. I'm a believer right now in Jordan Love. They are hosting the 2-0. They hosting the 2-0 Saints in Lambeau Field.
They cheat in Lambeau, but no, I agree. I think
the Packers get them, and I think the Saints go. I think the Saints lose that game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Look, dog, I picked the Lions. Like, you know what I'm saying? I picked the Lions. You know what I'm saying? So
you also picked the Bears. You also picked the Bears up to the Chiefs.
I'm going with my heart on bro. I'm going with my heart on this one. Don't nobody to rob your spot for 100,000 and you let anybody win from now on out. You don't do that. You don't do that. So they gotta come out on fire.
Gotcha. But we're gonna be keeping an eye on these games. We're gonna keep an eye on these games, man. It's good to be back. We will be more consistent. Man. We're gonna be more consistent. You leave us with the last word, brother.
Expectations. You don't have to live up to anybody else's expectations, but set expectations for yourself. You know what I mean? To set expectations for yourself. A lot of people keep promises. They want to keep promises to other people's, and I want to make sure. What about the promises you made to yourself? Keep those promises to yourself. There's no way you can keep a promise to someone else, but you promised yourself that you would get better, or you would do better, or you would achieve this or achieve that. So, expectations and promises, man. Make sure you keep your expectations for yourself, and you keep the promises to yourself. Those are valuable.
Awesome word, brother. Like I said, man, we're gonna be back. We're gonna keep this thing going. It's gonna be a great NFL season. We're gonna have so much stuff to talk about. I'm excited about it. We'll also have news and notes, but all y'all watching, y'all got suggestions, please let us know.
Let us know. We are back. We are back.
Always good to speak with you again, bro.
Without question, babe. Let's go.
Yes, sir.